Hey guys, I'm Stormy Atlantis and welcome back to my channel where I am seeking alignment, discovering esoteric knowledge, and unraveling ancient mysteries. Today we're going to talk about the upcoming new moon. First, I'm going to go over some information about the new moon, astrologically speaking, and then a ritual that I've created specifically for this new moon. And if you're a Taurus, I would really recommend that you pay attention to this one. I think it's going to be kind of a doozy for us. So let's get into it.
Someday soon I'm gonna make it. Yeah, all hard work's gonna be worth it. Ooh, everyone who didn't believe it, they don't know what they.
All right, now this new moon. The new moon is on January 24th. It is in Aquarius, and it is squared Uranus. Now, I'm not an astrologer. I did, however, read about it, and it sounds kind of awful. My favorite astrologers are Dark Star Astrology and Astrology King. I also like Yasmin Boland. And their description of this moon, and specifically the moon being squared Uranus, sounded a lot like a full supermoon in a water sign. You know, like it's got a lot of nervous tension and energy and a lot of chaotic upsets. There's because it's Uranus, and Uranus, if you're not familiar, is known for change and not necessarily in a comfortable way. It's usually for your best good at the end of the day, but it's not generally comfortable. Now, if you're a Taurus, like myself, Uranus moved into our sign last year for a total of 7 years. And we, being the most grounded sign in the zodiac, in that we are both an earth sign and a fixed sign, don't really like the chaotic energy of Uranus. It's very unsettling to us. If you think about your life from, I think it was, I want to say May. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. I'm not going to look it up right now. I think it was about May of last year, that March or May, Uranus moved into our sign. But your life is probably a lot different than it was then. And maybe not necessarily been a comfortable transition. I know that's true for me. That's Uranus. That's the effect of Uranus. It moves in and just shakes shit up, and then when it leaves, you're a whole different human. And we're at the beginning stages now. We're just getting comfortable. We're still at the beginning stages. Now, with this new moon being in Uranus and squared Uranus, in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, and being squared Uranus, it's a lot of additional chaotic Uranian energy. I, for one, I'm not super thrilled about. So my ritual that I created is first part harnessing that energy, because I do believe in going with the flow, but then part B is to do a nice heavy grounding and to make like a little grounding totem bag or satchel, or whatever you want to call it, charm bag, mojo bag. I like to call them mojo bags personally, but whatever. To help ground me through this lunar cycle, because that energy will persist through the lunar cycle, and I'm going to leverage it for the ritual, and then I'm going to be rid of it. I don't need any more. So, because this new moon is in Aquarius, squared Uranus, and has all this crazy Uranus chaotic energy, which is known for unexpected changes and big losses and gains and shaking things up, I'm going to try to harness as much of it as I can to do my bidding and manifest my will. One of the ways in which I will do that is by gathering as many things as I can that are associated with these signs, planets, so that I have enough items in my space that my space more closely matches the frequency of the energy that I'm trying to harness, if that makes sense. I do believe that the more things, the more you can kind of channel that particular energy, the better equipped you are to harness it. And additionally, I'll also think about the things that it's associated with, which is independence and like inventiveness and free thought. And I'll try to channel like an Aquarius mindset. It's not going to be easy for me. I got Taurus and Scorpio all over my chart, so I'm not really an Aquarius, but do my best. And then I'm going to grab items that are associated. So in this case, the color blue. I'm going to be using this beautiful blue fabric for my altar cloth. I also have blue birthday candles left over from my last ritual that I uploaded, because they're already blue and I already have them, so why not? And then I'll have amethyst as well. I don't actually have it with me right now to show you, but I will have amethyst as well. And then some additional items that I will have on hand and that you could have. Any little totems that are special to you. I have a couple of owls, and then I have this bear that are special to me and that I like to keep in my space. I will always, on any given ritual, have a piece of black tourmaline with me. And if you're not familiar with black tourmaline and you don't have any, highly recommend it. It's pretty much whenever somebody doesn't have any stones or crystals, whatever you call them, and they ask me what to get, I always tell them to get black tourmaline. It's like a mosquito zapper for bad juju. Just draws it in and takes it. And then I'll always have a quartz crystal, point crystal. That's just preference. You don't have to do any of these things. You're also going to want anything that is associated with what you're trying to manifest. So if you're trying to manifest, let's say financial abundance, for instance, you can just search or use a book if you have one. I'll recommend some books in the description box that are good for references, for associations. Look up anything that's associated with the thing you're trying to manifest and gather those supplies as well. So that way you have the vibration of the energy you're trying to channel, as well as the vibration of the energy that you're trying to channel it into, all in your space. Now, specific supplies you're going to need for this ritual. Little glass jar. I make a bunch of different curry dishes with this curry paste, so I will oftentimes save a lot of these jars. If you don't have one of these, any small jar, I'm literally going to take this label off and just clean it really good, and that's going to be my jar. You're also going to need honey. Now, if you're a vegan, as I claim to be, though I do occasionally use honey, and I know a lot of vegans are really mad about that. And if you're a vegan, I'm really sorry. There really isn't a substitute in this particular instance because we are trying to harness bee energy. We're going to plant a seed. And honey is the result of a seed. It's like the final result. It's seed to plant to pollen to a final product. And this is the energy of the bee, the energy of a harvest. I don't know of a good substitute. I'm making the ritual we're doing is actually a traditional witchcraft type spell, and it's called a honey jar. And I'm making a honey jar. I'm really sorry if you're a vegan and you're opposed to it. And on that note, you don't want cheap, shitty honey. This isn't even the best honey. This is just what I happen to already have, and I'm not going to get more. But it's not the worst honey. You're going to want something that's theoretically raw or unfiltered or local and real and certified and organic and non-GMO. Fun fact, did you know, the vegans will love this, did you know that the amount of honey we consume is greater than the amount of honey that we produce? The reason that is because not all the honey is even fucking honey, okay? A lot of the honey has literally been known to kill people on account of it not being real honey, on account of companies in China making synthesized, chemically laced fake honey because we literally don't produce enough. And aside from the endless side effects of our honey harvesting and what we're doing, and tangent over, you're gonna want honey. You're gonna want a jar. You're also gonna want a paint marker or paint of some kind. We're gonna get a little arts and craftsy. You're also gonna need a pen and paper for this as well. Before I actually start the ritual, I have an entire process by which I cleanse my space and cleanse myself. And I'm not gonna go into all of that right now because it would make this video longer than I'm sure it already is, which I'm guessing is gonna be too long. But what I will do is I'll put the link to a video right here where I did go over all those things. So if you're interested in hearing about how I actually set up my space and cleanse my space, that's the way to do it. I also in that video talk a bit about, and I'll link the video below as well, so you don't have to watch it right now. You can watch it at the end or whatever. I also talk a bit about why I think moon rituals are important. Now, there is actually one more ingredient, and I'm not even sure if I'm gonna put this in the final video because it's so taboo and controversial. But if you'd like to know, my cycle is synced to the new moon. I start right before the new moon every time, which means I have a really, really powerful additive at my disposal every new moon if I so choose to use it. I will be using it in this particular instance. So adding to my jar, and I use a Diva cup, so this isn't gonna be gross for anybody who's like, oh my God, that's disgusting. It's not, I'm not even gonna make a mess, so it'll be literally no cleanup. I have another jar that I will actually, before I take my shower, I'll just dump my Diva cup into that jar and close it up. And then I'll have that jar also on my little altar. And then when I get ready, it'll probably be the last thing I add in there. I have everything else in there, and then I'll just dump it in. And if you think it's gross, I'm sorry. It's not. We've been conditioned to think that it's gross, but it's not gross. It is literally a absolute reality for half of the human population and a necessity for the population to continue. It's become taboo for bullshit reasons. I will have none of it anymore. Actually, I just decided I'm definitely gonna put it in this video. I'm gonna be using it. Now, that being said, if you are able to, if you're synced up, if you're going to do that, I would definitely go ahead and take a watch of the video that I'm linking below from my other moon ritual where I talk about my cleansing, because you're gonna want to do that really thoroughly. Essentially, this is blood magic, okay? It's feminine essence blood magic, but it's blood magic nonetheless. And if you're gonna do blood magic, you're gonna wanna cleanse the shit out of your space and really lock it down. I find that when I work with blood, when I do blood magic, it's got a different vibe to it. You're really gonna wanna lock your space down. Now, let's get into the ritual. What you're gonna do is you are going to set up your space however you feel like doing it. Like I said before, this is, I think, something that is a matter of personal expression, personal preference, and intuition. So you set up your space however you want, gather all the supplies that align with what you're doing, align with the ritual, and then set it up however you're ready. The only conditions I would say is to put your jar in kind of the center, because it's where we're going to kind of focus everything into at the end of the day. So you're going to set your space up, okay? Get yourself ready, get yourself prepared, get your mindset ready, have your like super chill meditation music, whatever music you want on, preferably lyricless, preferably super zen and chill, you know. And then you're going to take your pen and your paper, and because Aquarius is associated with the phrase I know, you're going to write out a manifestation intention with the phrase I know. So you'll start with I know, and you'll end it with whatever is relevant to what it is that you're trying to create. And then you're going to put that paper, fold it up, and you're going to put it into your jar. Okay? Then you're going to start to add your ingredients one by one. And each time you do it, you want to kind of channel the idea and energy and purpose of those herbs in the jar. Okay, so anything that you're manifesting, any herbs, any oils, any stones, anything like that that you want to add into it, make sure you're channeling it, put it in there, one by one. And then you're going to put your honey in. And when you put your honey in, I want you to also be very mindful of the fact that when you put your honey in, I want you to be very mindful of bee energy. And I want you to be very mindful of this like final product, this sweet final product of a seed being planted, right? And put that in your jar. And if you're going to choose to add my special ingredient, then add that in there as well. After your jar is full, you're going to work up and channel as much of the energy from this new moon as you can. Now, if you're new to this and you're like, the fuck does that even mean, Stormy? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna give you a short little exercise to practice. So you're gonna take your hands and you're gonna make some friction in your hands, because friction is also energy. And rub them together. So you have a good amount. And then hold them like this, and you'll feel the tingle. Okay, the tingle of the friction. And that's very similar to if you work on a bunch of energy during a moon ritual, that this feeling is what you'll feel. Now what you're going to do is you're going to stretch it. And it's kind of like taffy. It's got like a pull to it. Like you can feel as you try to push it together, you can feel it condensing a little. And it's kind of like right now it's getting hot. Like as I get close together, as it's condensing together, it gets hot. And then I'm going to stretch it out. And you can like work more energy up from your environment, bring in energy from your body, and work up as much as you can. It's kind of like, honestly, like a Dragon Ball Z ball. I'm not going to lie. And just play with it. Play with it. Feel the resistance. Like it gets so hot. Super hot when you get it together. You can pull it all the way out and then push it back in. You'll feel the heat. Like I can feel it already right there. And the more I stretch it and play with it, the hotter it gets when I bring it back in. And you can try to form it, try to make kind of orb shapes with it. And just do this, just kind of do that a bit and get used to that feeling. Because that's the feeling you're going to use when you charge your space. And when I first started doing this, when I was like a teenager, this is how I started. I literally used to, when I was super young, I would start by rubbing my hands together and work the ball up, and then try to like use that to carry in more, right? And you want to try to work up as much of it as you can. Like, and also as a side note, drink a lot of water, because you will get dehydrated. You can feel really dizzy, really out of it, really like fucking tired. Like, there are side effects. And work up as much as you can, and then you're going to try to condense that energy all the way down into your jar. It's like a star collapsing, super condensed, right? Take as much as you can, capture as much of it as you can, and put it into your jar. Seal your jar up, okay? And then we're going to paint on our jar. You can either write a phrase, or you can look up a sigil or a rune that's relevant to what it is you're trying to manifest, or you can make a sigil. I'll probably be doing that. I'm not going to go into how to make sigils in this video because it would make it even longer, but there is, I promise you, a ton of information on making sigils on the internet. You can also find sigils on the internet. So knock yourself out, and whatever that is, you're going to paint it on the outside of your jar. And then we're going to seal it up. Then I'm going to go outside, I'm going to dig a hole. Now, if you are in a place where you can and you are willing to and feel comfortable with digging a hole with your hands, I'll recommend it. I find it to be a very powerful method, especially when I'm doing any kind of ritual in which I'm digging a hole or burying something. I love to dig with my hands. I just feel like it's like me working with the raw energies. Might just be in my head, but I feel real, like just a badass like wood witch. Like I'm just out there digging holes with my hands. Feels great. However, the ground outside is frozen right now. I'm in Michigan. It's a bunch of snow. The last time I tried to dig a hole in frozen snow dirt, I mean, I got pretty far. I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty proud of myself. I got several inches down, but then my hands were numb, and it was just so much work. It was just frozen. It was so hard. So I got a little trowel. So if you need a trowel, get a trowel. If you can do it with your hands and you want to, I recommend it anytime that's an option. And dig a hole. And I would give it a solid like 10 inches, if not more. You don't want it to like come back up in the spring. You know what I mean? So dig it down in there. And then while you're planting it, I want you to, it's your baby. It's your baby seed. And you're planting. You're literally planting your seed. And you've harnessed all this chaos energy from Uranus, and you're planting it into the ground. And know that that's what that is. And then bury it down in there. Now, after my jar is all buried, after you've worked up all that chaos Uranian energy, I'm also going to ground myself because, like I said, Taurus, Uranus, I'm done. And this crazy Uranian energy is going to follow us through this lunar cycle, and I'm not interested. I'm going to ground the shit out of myself. So before I go inside, I'm going to stand on the ground. I'm probably going to stand barefoot even in the snow. Now, I would recommend if you can be barefoot, do it. If you can't, you can't. That's fine. But if you can, be barefoot. And then you're going to try to push all that crazy, frictiony, staticky feeling that you have left over, all the excess, and start pushing it all the way down through you and through your feet and into the ground. And keep doing that so you feel like you've wrung like you're a sponge and you want to wring it out all the way. So you're all the way wrung out. And then try to draw up some good, deep vibe earth energy to kind of resettle you. Especially, I would say especially for Tauruses. I think it's going to be especially important for us to like rebalance our natural earth alchemy, you know. Then I'm going to go inside. I'm going to open some windows and I'm going to sage or use Palo Santo or smudge with something the inside and get all that excess out. And then try to ground my space out, like get it all cleansed really well. And then I'm going to make a little mojo bag. And it's super simple. And again, this is something that you can do however you want to do it. This is all a mojo bag is. This one is actually fucking gigantic. Like, this is unnecessarily large. It fucking smells so good, though. I have so many good herbs in here. It feels so good. You can just get any kind of reusable bag. This one is actually wrapped in cloth because I put it in 2 bags, but they were mesh and the herbs were still falling out of them. And I was like, fuck. So I also covered it in cloth and then just tied the cloth up with string. A mojo bag is literally just a bag of herbs and oils and stones, primarily stones, I would say, that resonate with a certain energy. And for this particular case, I'm going to go with all things grounding. And I'm probably going to put black onyx or black tourmaline in here, some hematite, things like that. And nice grounding, earthy herbs and oils. And probably have some bergamot in there because I always like bergamot. And then I'm going to wrap it in a cloth. It'll probably only be like this big. Like it'll be a fraction of this size. And I'm going to focus on a nice solid grounding, and I will carry that with me for the remainder of this lunar season, of this lunar cycle. So first part, embrace the chaos, chill with it, flow with it, use it, leverage it, harness it, build it up, put it in your jar, and plant that shit in the earth. And then ground the fuck out of yourself. You're going to need it. That's it, guys. I know it's a little lengthy, and I know I'm fairly long-winded, but I want to make sure that I really go over all the various elements, express to you that you don't have to do it my way, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you found this video to be useful, informative, entertaining, or you found any value in it at all, then I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button for me. And if you want to see more content, which, by the way, my next video is going to be about ancient power sources, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notifications. And I will be putting out another video in 2 days from the publishing date of this video. If you decide to do this ritual, I would love if you leave me a comment afterwards. Let me know how you felt about it, how much you enjoyed it, and let me know your thoughts. Have a great day, guys. See you around.